So with our lovely Miss B, nice job, cuteness. So I wanted to explain a little bit with the toy exchange game and a few other topics to help prevent gulping or resource guarding. I know I have a couple videos about some of this with some other puppies that have come to the Doggy Day School. So for Miss B right now, I have a few different types of chews. And then also some interactive toys, which would be anything that she could play with you, but also be supervised. So interactive toys would typically be things that she could potentially break down, and we don't want her to ingest parts of toys or things that are not edible. So for the little lady, I have a few also animal tidbits, so like bones or antlers, and there's a hoof. So a lot of times in our world, we have deemed things that are safe or unsafe for the puppies, which is completely fine. But the way we deal with it tends to either make the puppy feel comfortable with the exchange or the interaction, or has the opposite effect and starts to create a puppy that gets overwhelmed when they find something and we're nearby. So for example, for a lot of puppies, they will grab mulch or acorns, different inanimate objects on the floor, and even household items that are supposed to be off limits, be it socks, slippers, whatever it might be. So we tend to instantly go and say, oh my gosh, no, or we go and try to scold the puppy, or we take it right out of their mouths. The problem with sometimes going in right and swiping it from your puppy is that we start to become, again, the end of fun, but also slightly confrontational. And then at times your puppy might be to get away from you and finally have something of their own, romp away and play keep away. But then at times they can get into trouble with that. And then they still try to maybe consume the product that might have been an off-limit item, like a leave it item for down the road. So I'm just going to try and get her a little bit intrigued by some of these items. So if in here she doesn't go for all these toys or want to engage, the other ways you can also practice at home is if there's a few items she does enjoy playing, let's say she's playing with one item, you would then make the toy or item near her off in the bubble. So let's say she's enjoying one of these bad boys. I would go and make one of the toys come alive and get her to go from the original toy to this new toy. So we practice going and showing intriguement between different items and practice that the items are still there. So there's none of this, oh my gosh, we did a little exchange and now the thing is gone. Oh, nice job, cuteness. But we want her to think that when we're playing with one item, we can continue to play with another a few moments later. And that way letting go doesn't always equal the end of the game. But remember, when your puppy learns how to let go of things she can have, she can then learn to let go of things she shouldn't have. So we would also start to work, nice job, on, for example, leave-its, which we've done a little bit with Mr. Z in a different video prior. But let's say she's not really going for those toys for now. I would then practice at times with one toy being alive and wiggling and you're playing, and then you start to practice getting your puppy to grab and let go of things she's supposed to have. So that way your puppy can start to learn to use that mouth and know what it means to let go of something or take hold of something. So right now, this is just a little toy that I tied onto an old leash. I did chop off the buckle because it was broken, and now it's just turned into a toy at the end of a tether, which for a lot of puppies is fun because they can chase the item around and then grab it, and then you're still far enough away from the puppy's lovely piranha teeth, especially in the beginning. So let's say your puppy grabs the toy. You could then be playing with this one, and while she's mid-play, get another toy, ready? And get her to exchange the original toy for another one. So therefore, going and grabbing an item and then learning how to let go is non-confrontational, but it's fun to practice grabbing and releasing items. This way, let's say, oh no, she grabbed something she's not supposed to, she can then be able to be redirected without having it be overwhelming. But then let's say she's got the item, you could also practice some lovely find it. So you might go, ready, find it, and get her to relinquish the original toy or thing that she's allowed to have, to then get a couple little moments of some snacks on the floor for disengaging. So your moment to free up the item would be with those lovely find its. So find its are a great dance move, especially in the beginning, when she doesn't know exactly what it means to drop something or out it. Remember, for letting go, it could be drop it, give, out, but I wouldn't use leave it. So leave it would be something that we're going to use for later when we want her to ignore and not go and visit or engage with that inanimate object or thing. Nice job, cuteness. So I'm going to see if we can also practice where you could, for example, have 2 different toys or multiples, get her to play with one of them, and then when she has a hold of one of the items, then see if you can go ahead and show her the other toy to get her to practice bouncing back between 2 items. This can be a great way to also practice retrieving. So if, let's say, she goes, grabs a toy, and she tends to head in your direction, while she has the original toy, you could then, as she comes closer, show her the new toy. She might spit out the original and then toss the new toy or either one. So that way she could be playing with one. You then, again, the train's just going by, so a little bit noisy. So we could be playing with that one originally, and then we turn this one into the new live toy, and you rotate through the different items. So if, though, Miss B is more food-driven right now, no big deal, but I would try to make this a game that you practice throughout the day, where you show her, let's say she's playing with Mr. Raccoon, and he comes to life, and we're playing. Then mid-play with Mr. Raccoon, ready, cuteness? What is that guy? So we could get her to go ahead and show interest in Mr. Raccoon. She goes to play with him, and then we could go from there and then either feed for the connection back to me or ask her to relinquish the item by doing something else. So my little one is coughing for a second, so she's wondering what she's up to. Bella, come. So right there, from a little distraction, I might work one of those lovely little recalls. And remember too that throughout the day, you're still practicing with your puppy and teaching them things. So any moment she gives me a glimmer of something I would love to have happen again, I feed for those moments to make them more into a habit that will happen down the road. She's like, please keep going. Nice job, cuteness. So for the toy exchange game, make sure to make it fun and easy. The other option, I'm just going to grab the slow feed bowl as well. So for the little lady, if she, and again, I'm out of camera range, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to come right back. So if, let's say, she's not really going for my toy items right now, I really like using some slow feed bowls and other sort of enrichment items. Remember, though, that puzzle toys and some of this type of enrichment doesn't replace sometimes the interactions with you or the world and other potential dog friends. So these are great ways to pacify her for moments, but it wouldn't be a substitute for the things she might need as a dog. So again, I'm going to load up the little slow feed bowl with just a couple tidbits. And then what I would try to do is, if, let's say, she's enjoying that little moment, I might go, ready, Bella, and then see if I can get her attention. If she's very distracted, I'll give her a little moment because, of course, there is still a crumb left in there. If, again, this was too hard of a situation, you could also, for example, have it be a lower valued item and have her then be working or playing with it and then see if she can bounce back for better items from your end. Nice job, cuteness. So another great way to prevent like the resource guarding, which could happen for some, it can be genetically driven. It can also just be environmental as well. So depending on your puppy's comfort range, depending on how we've engaged and interacted with her, we might actually create the resource guarding or gulping behavior we were trying to avoid. So if, let's say, my puppy, ready, Bella, she's like, hold on, this is very nice and smelly. I have the dog caught out that Mr. Z was on. Yes, nice job, cuteness. So I'm going to feed her for that lovely name recognition. So let's say your puppy is enjoying their meal, their chew, something that they're kind of vegging and enjoying. You will want to at times also practice the situation where you approach, you feed for doing the great job, and you move away. So if, let's say, for example, your puppy ever gets overwhelmed as you guys approach, the wrong way to avoid resource guarding would be to fiddle with your puppy's food, to go and bother her and pat her while she's chewing or licking an item. Remember that even though your puppy might be tolerant at times, that's like you mid-meal and someone just comes over and starts bombarding you and touching your hair, and you don't even really want that kind of engagement because you're busy with dinner. So I would recommend that while, let's say, she's enjoying some of her kibble, you could then do the, you can't talk today. You could do the approach and disengage, or like approach and treat and then disengage. So again, she's enjoying. I would go ahead, toss some food in her bowl, and then walk away. So let's say she was eating kibble or some of her food from home or whatever she tends to enjoy, you would then come by with a higher value snack to build up that you coming near is really positive and a nice little situation. So again, I go and refill and then walk away. So now what my lovely lady is starting to realize is that when the crazy snack lady comes nearby, it's not confrontational, it's not spooky, and I made the bowl even cooler than it once was. So you can either toss the food in her direction. So let's say it's too hard to like plop it right in because she's so busy. You can, again, just go ahead and, let's say maybe her head is out of the way, toss the food in and then move out of the bubble. So this is a great way to almost view it like it's an ice cream cone, and her toppers are almost gone. And every time you come by, you reload her toppings to her ice cream cone. So you coming nearby becomes really fun and very cool and not overwhelming, because now it's been paired with, you've made it even cooler than it once was. Nice job, cuteness. The other option too is, as she's enjoying that, you could dump a couple little tidbits in, but then you would also do it where, let's say she was enjoying it and then she was mid-eating, you could then do a little find it. So she goes and moves away from the bowl or the thing, and then she can go back to the item or the chew or the bowl. And then you make it fun to practice leaving the resource to go grab another and to come back to the original. Nice job, cuteness. Yes, my lovey. Okay, that's fine. My little lady's playing. She's got a penguin toy and she wants to pretend parts of her little bubble are water and then maybe other parts are ice. So we'll give our little Miss B a breather from the toy exchange game, but we'll definitely dive into some more skills. 1 second, Hippo. This would definitely be something you'd want to work at the household before you need it. So if we only practice dropping an item when we want to take it away, then your puppy's understanding of drop it means the thing is going to be taken away from them. So drop it starts to become very negative and something they try to avoid. So if take it and drop it's equal, we can play again, we can exchange, we can rotate through items, then it's not as overwhelming or as negative as it could have been had we never introduced this to the playing field. So definitely exchanging through items she can have, so she learns that letting go is good, and that letting go later when something she shouldn't have is an option, and she knows what it means or how to rock it. So she really did a very nice job with this exercise. And I know she didn't really go for the toys, but at home where she's not maybe as excited or distracted, she might do awesome with her toys from home. She's offering some beautiful sits though. Nice job, Miss B.